Brakathe Yahweh, Brakathe Yahweh Shai, Brakathe Yahweh, Brakathe Yahweh Shai, Brakathe Yahweh, Brakathe Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakakodash, double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone True Well. Salutations to the whole elect out there, man. You brothers that sincerely do this thing in truth and sincerity. I'm the priest Shaman, and this week's topic is the so-called white man does not give two shits about you players in the NFL. And the reason this topic is equivalent or has any relevance to the truth is because the majority of the players in the National Football League or any sport, most of sport athletes you see are Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. And right here, in the video, you see Clay Matthews of the Green Bay Packers and Alex Smith of the Washington Redskins. And these two look like Edomites, but they could both be Israelites because these two particular players, if you follow football or you know that they dominated their respective positions. And I'm gonna play a play that is pretty controversial right now. The football season started, and I was speaking to Palal about this, that they're making this shit real soft. And I want to let you know that they're making the NFL soft and protecting these players, quote unquote, the so-called white man says, but it's not because they give two fucks about you. And I'm going to prove that in the scriptures and in the lessons and show you the true nature of the so-called white man and how he moved. Okay? But I'm going to go ahead and play this clip and I'm going to speak on it. All right?
Rock star in the place. Said he had 3 pictures in his locker in high school. One of them was Adrian Peterson, along with Ray Lewis and Sean Taylor. Second down. Smith is decked. Oh, my. And a penalty. It's on Matthews again, and he can't believe it. Personal foul. Roughing the passer. Defense number 52. It's a 15-yard penalty. Automatic. First down. That's the third roughing the passer on Matthews this year. So here he comes, right at you from the right side of your screen.
All right, so this guy's been keep getting penalized for roughing the passer, which he's not roughing the passer, man. That was just a straight up perfect form tackle. These are two grown ass men, and first of all, it's a bang bang play. The shit is moving real fast. Even in slow motion, it don't even look bad. So anybody with eyes could see that they just pretty much making it like a fagged out soft sport, right? Now, is it because the so-called white man cares about these athletes in the NFL? Hell no. All right. We know that the so-called white man is a devil, which the word devil means deceiver. So we know there has to be another reason. What's the reason? You're an investment. All right. There's so much rules and protection on the quarterback now because this is the highest paid position. Right? Now, you might see that also with the receivers. They got all these different targeting rules and these different rules to protect the players, the so-called white man says, but the so-called white man, he doesn't give a fuck about you. He doesn't, because let's look at hockey now, for example. All right, if you look at hockey, which is predominantly it looks like Edomites. They got Jake scattered there. They hitting the fuck out of each other for way faster than NFL players are hitting each other. And in fact, in hockey, you could fight. They allow you to fight until the person hits the ground and the player, once the other player hits the ground, then the referee breaks up the fight. But you could knock a nigga's teeth out, break his jaw, all right? Actually, my coworker used to watch a lot of hockey, and I saw a motherfucker actually catch the puck with his hand. Like, he caught the puck. That you could catch the fucking puck going 100 and something miles in your hand, and they don't stop it. Why is that? Well, it's obvious, because hockey players ain't getting $100 million contracts. So the only reason the so-called white man gives a fuck about his quarterbacks or these receivers is because you're an investment. You're like an automobile. If I pay $100 million for a car, I want to make sure you protect that car. It's not so much the player. Because one thing they're realizing is they're giving all these athletes a lot of money and then they get injured, and the so-called white man is losing out on his investments. All right. Back then, football was crazy as fuck. Niggas was getting clotheslined, and If it's up to the white man, he'll still have you niggas kill yourself in these arenas, man. All right. These are just some same Roman emperors coming back. You could kill yourself in that arena though if you was getting paid $100,000 a year, like how you were back then. The only reason they're instituting more rules is because they're giving you niggas more FRNs. Okay, more money on their investment. That's the only reason that they don't give two fucks about you. First of all, I'm gonna bring out the scripture. This is Deuteronomy. This is Deuteronomy, chapter 32, verse 9. It says, "See now that I, even I, am He, and there is no God with me. I will kill and I will make alive. I wound and I heal. Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand." So ultimately, you could institute all these fucking rules you want in the NFL. It's the Most High is gonna dictate what's gonna happen. All right, you could tear your ACL just practicing. I've seen a guy tear his ACL taunting. You know. So ultimately, it's the Most High. It doesn't matter how much rules and regulations you put. The Most High is gonna determine who players are gonna get hurt or not. A lot of them even get hurt, season-ending injuries, and they're non-contact. So it's the Most High ultimately that's going to decide who and what is going to get hurt doing this sport. Which, doing this particular sport, you doing nothing but tempting the Lord for an injury. All right, that's not going to Most High jack a lot of you motherfuckers up. All right, because here it is, the Most High put you on earth to be 200 pounds, but you're weighing 250 pounds, moving damn near 20 something miles an hour. You're tempting the Lord to get injured, and so the Most High injures you. So-called you athletes out there, man. This is Job 5:18. For he maketh sore and bindeth up. He woundeth and his hands make whole. So it's the Most High that's going to control your wounding, your healing, all right? Injuries and repairs. It's all in the Most High's hands, man. Okay? So you devils out there, you so-called changing up the rules of the NFL and spewing it out and put it out like you give a fuck about people. You a bunch of devils, man. All right, you don't give a fuck about these players in the NFL, man. You don't care, because if this was so, then the care would be universal towards all sports. As you can see, hockey players, they don't get paid much money. All right, but their sport has more contact and more risk of injuries than NFL. But you know what's crazy about it? The Most High, as we read in the scriptures, don't let hockey players get injured like that. Even though they're moving a lot faster, the hits are a lot harder. All right, and it's more quote unquote likely to get injuries in hockey. All right, if you're just looking at it for face value, because the more you got a flying puck, all these things in there. But the Most High have it to where you NFL guys are getting injured more, man. All right. Because there's some bird brain niggas out there. The fuck, man? You got some bird brain niggas out there that think that the so-called white man actually cares about them. Which the so-called white man doesn't give two shits about you. This is Isaiah 43:13. Yea, before the day was I am, yea, before the day was I am He, and there is none that can deliver out of my hand. I will work, and who shall let it? In other words, when the Most High is ready to work, or whenever the Most High wants to put an injury in motion, you can't reverse it, man. All right, you can't. There's no as much regulations as you put in this. You can damn near make it. As South Park have it, sarcastic ball where niggas is just hugging. It was so the sport then got so damn soft. All right. There's still going to be injuries in there the Most High wanted to happen, man. Okay, and as you can see, look, man, the Most High ain't with this shit. The Most High is not with you Israelites working rigor and, putting yourself on the line for the so-called white man. Fuck that. This is nothing more than Mandingo fighting. Okay? You always be players, but you're never going to be the owners. The owners ain't going to get in this fucking Coliseum or put their family members in this Coliseum. Okay, you're the product, or as the owner of the NFL Texans calls y'all the prisoners. Okay, y'all the cellmates. Okay, and this is the prison, and the owner of the Houston Texans said that, man. So that should give you an idea of what a so-called white man see Negroes and Latinos and Native Americans as, man? You're still slaves in this shit, man. Okay? Just entertainment for bread and circuses. Okay? You guys serve a part of the elite's agenda of that's called bread and circus, a means of distraction, man. Alright? Alright, let's continue on now. This is Isaiah 55 and 21. So let's look at some of the characteristics of the so-called white man. It says, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart, and his words were softer than oil, yet were their drawn sword. So when a so-called white man says something, don't take it for face value, okay? Because that's the agenda he pushes pretty much. He says one thing, but he's a very deceitful and crafty creature. He's a deceitful and crafty beast. That's how come of all the beasts of the earth, he's likened unto a serpent, man. All right, he's that same snake that was in the Garden of Eden, man. A very subtle and deceptive creation of the Most High, man. Okay. And if you don't watch the snake and observe the snake, your ass is gonna get bitten. Okay. And that's what happens to a lot of you players in this NFL, man. All right, a lot of you that give your life over to your sports for the so-called white man, and you end your career with nothing but injuries and shit like that, man. You can't even really enjoy your money with all the injuries and concussions you have. And then you try to get some type of settlement, the so-called white man says, fuck you. This is Psalms 28:3. It says, draw me not away with the wicked and with the workers of iniquity. All right? Which speak peace to their neighbors, but mischief is in their hearts, man. All right? Because the so-called white man is not going to come out straight and say, listen, man, you can't touch my quarterback. I paid $100 million for him. Don't touch him. He's not going to say that. He's going to say, listen, we got to protect the quarterback. All right. So just give him a love tap. So, and don't touch the receivers. Let them run their routes because I want my quarterbacks to run up the points. That way, when people come in, all right, they enjoy themselves and more ticket sales come in, man. That's what it's about. It's about money, man. All right. It's about money. If hockey players was getting damn near what these players was getting, all right, it'd be a whole different story, man. Or rugby players, this shit is crazy, but they're not getting the NFL money. Okay, but as you can see, their sports are way more physically, contact driven, man. But nobody watch that shit like that. So it's all about money. The so-called white man doesn't give two fucks about you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, which dominate this sport, and the Israelite foreigners amongst you, man. All right, Tom Brady and Eli Manning. All right, more than likely, these guys are jakes, man. Okay? Israelite foreigners, if you will. If you could receive it, because you got a lot of guys that call themselves Israelites that can't even receive that, man. All right? This is Proverbs 26 and 24. He that hateth disassembleth with his lips, and layeth up deceit within him. When he speaketh fair, believe him not. For there are 7 abominations in his heart. See, when he speaketh fair. All right, and this is just one topic, man. You could go into a million topics with the so-called white man, man. There's a lot of things that he say he don't really mean. He doesn't really give a fuck. For example, the first thing that comes to mind is he likes to push recycle and care about the environment when he's the one that's destroying the environment. You know what I mean? That's how the so-called white man works. He's auto app chaos. He creates the different chaoses, all right, and comes up in order. His own order, when all the ways to govern the planet Earth, to govern man, all this is written in the law, statute, commandments of the Bible. But he's not going to take heed to that. He's going to destroy the shit, destroy the world, and come up with his own solutions. And when we look at the solutions, they're all temporary patches, man. All right? You could go into healthcare. Instead of just telling you to eat right and give the people natural and good foods, all right, to kill cancer and cure all these different diseases, fuck that. He'd rather put these different foods out there that destroy your body and then come up with some type of treatment and keep milking you for money. That's how the so-called white man works. Verse 26 now. Whose hatred is covered by deceit, his wickedness shall be showed before the whole congregation. So the so-called white man, verse 27, I got to read that. Whoso diggeth a pit shall fall therein, and he that rolleth a stone, it will return upon him. So the so-called white man likes to dig pits and snares, but guess what? Ultimately, that same missile that he done created, all right, is gonna bring his ass down. There's a precept to this in the book of Psalms. I want to bring it out. It should be TSK. Help me out real quick. It should be in Psalms 7 and 15. This is Psalm 7 and 15. He made a pit and digged it, and is fallen into the ditch which he made. See that? So the so-called white man creates these pits and falls for a lot of people. But guess what? In the kingdom of heaven, we're gonna be putting that shit on him 100-fold, man. All right, a whole bunch of taxes, damn near air tax, all types of taxes just to fuck with him. All right, because that's the same way he oppressed our people here in America, man. In the whole world. Verse 16. When I say our people, I'm talking about the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans of your father lineage. Verse 16. His mischief shall return upon his own head, and his violent dealing shall come down upon his own pate, which is pate is head. You know, I could pull it up in the Hebrew here for you. You know, who is what's that? Quad, which is head, crown, or head top. Right here, he crown his scalp. So this is pretty much, you know, the shit that the mischief that you don't create. You know, you devils are gonna go through it, man. Hey, trust me, man. In the kingdom of heaven, we're gonna have you be playing football at a way more aggressive and dangerous rate, and you ain't gonna be fucking getting paid for it. And we're gonna be booing you because you're not as talented as us, man. All right. Look at the NBA, the NFL, and all these different major sports. Before Jake was in it, the shit was boring and whack, man. All right, because Jake is the salt of the earth. Okay, and just like it was the same thing with them gladiator games, all right, the Olympic games, all that. It was Jake, our people that pretty much made every society popular for what it is. All right, and we're still at the bottom. All right, going back to the curses, but at the end of the day, you know, we still the apple of the Most High's eye. All right, so we're gonna let loose on you devils in the kingdom of heaven, man. So that was just a quick topic I wanted to do today, man, and you know, I hope you brothers are edified. I'm gonna give all praises to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, double honors to the apostles and elders of great millstone, which were well, and salutations to the hopeful elect out there. Shalom.